Good morning, Bates. It is Friday. Mr. Fonseca, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy Friday, Bates, and happy Friday, Mr. Softic. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. I'm really excited. Today we'll get to see our beacons of the week.
Yes.
So our in-person students will come down to the main office at 12, and then our remote students will Zoom in at 1:30, and we can recognize all of our wonderful Bates beacons for all the work they've done this week, and going above and beyond, being safe, responsible, and respectful, but also, representing our house core values.
Exactly. Thank you, Bates Beacons, for all the great work you're doing. And again, if you haven't been a Bates Beacon yet, don't give up. Keep trying. Show your teacher why you deserve to be a Bates Beacon
Mhm.
through your actions, making sure you're always following and exceeding your teacher's expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I think we try to be the Bates beacon by doing one thing. The teacher sees me do this, then I'll be the Bates beacon, right? And
That's right.
so we want to make sure that everyone understands that it's not just one thing that makes you earn beacon of the week, right? It's how you perform over the week, how you treat your peers, your teachers. Are you being a good classmate? Are you working as hard as you can? You don't have to have A pluses to be the beacon of the week, right? You
That's
don't
right.
have to be the highest achiever in math or science or ELA. You don't have to be the best athlete. You just have to be, work to the best of your ability and treat everyone with kindness.
Exactly. And that's something Mr. Suffolk's saying here is be consistent. Don't just do your very best to get to be Bates Beacon for a day. Do your best consistently or every single day because it's the right thing to do.
Hmm. Absolutely. And then if everyone sees you doing that, it picks up the whole classroom and everyone's working really hard together. And that's when the magic happens. And, we really build that classroom community to really excel from you being a leader. Um,
Exactly.
so we'll see some of those kiddos later. And then we'll have on our morning announcements on Monday, we'll share those videos and see everybody who earned Beacon of the Week.
That's right.
And today is February 5th. So as we continue, Black History Month,
Yeah.
Mr. Fonseca, important date.
It is an important date, and we're going to talk a little bit about something that happened on February 5th, years back. But before we do, we just want to remind everyone: Black History Month. We're appreciating and celebrating all the contributions that people of color have done in our world. Also recognizing that it's not limited to just this month. I actually wore a special shirt today. Thank you to my friend Mr. Omar Longus for giving me this shirt. It says Black History Month is every month. And he's got a point. Black History Month isn't something we just celebrate one month, we celebrate it all the time. So, to share out the important event that happened today, I'm going to share my screen. So, today on February 5th in 1962, there were a group of people who decided to protest. To protest means to speak out against something that is unfair or not right. And these people decided they were going to protest or speak out against the segregation of schools. Segregation might be a new word for many of you. Mr. Softic, what does segregation mean?
Segregate is when we separate people, in this case, students of color, right? Those who are darker skinned, or in this case, black, from their white peers or their white classmates.
Exactly. So in 1962 and all the years leading up to that year, students who were black were separated or kept separate and went to different schools than students who were white. In this place here, it was still happening in Englewood, New Jersey. Before then, it happened around the country. And a group of protesters, again, these people that were speaking out, said, this is not right. This is not fair. We have to stop segregation. And we have to let our students who are black and our students that are white go to the same schools.
Mhm.
And so they went to the courts and they said, we want to speak out here in the courts and try to change what's happening in our schools, make a new law that's going to allow our students that are black and our students that are white and our students that are from anywhere and are of any race to be able to go to school together. And because they spoke out against this injustice, because they spoke out against this segregation, which was not right, they were successful. A year later, in 1963, they were able to have their students who were black and their students who were white start going to these same schools in Englewood, New Jersey.
Absolutely, and that's called desegregation, right? So then
Yes.
then all students of color and white students can work together, and in the same school, and they all have, equal and equitable access to their education, which didn't happen prior to that in New Jersey. And you know what, Mr. Ponce, this happened across the country. You
It
know, it
did
wasn't
happen
just New
all
Jersey.
over.
So these types of scenarios happened all across the United States. And, you know, there was a lot of work done in the civil rights movement, which, you know, mostly the 50s and 60s to make sure that this didn't happen.
That's right. It's something I think is important to highlight here is what Mr. Softic always talks about, like making change happen with our words and not with our fists, not by fighting. And that's exactly what these protesters did. They used their words to talk to other people and to talk to the courts to change the law so that people will be treated equally. So let's always follow their example and use our words to make positive change happen in our community.
Absolutely. Well put, Mr. Fonseca. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
Mhm.
So, you know, talk to your teachers about, you know, segregation and desegregation, how you feel about it, you know, and how you want to be, how do you want to improve, you know, the civil rights movement or how today, you know, how can we improve this today? You know, some of these things still happen, not necessarily segregation of schools, but we do see some, you know, racism across the country. We want to make sure that we stand up against that with our words, not with, you know, our fists. So let's be mindful of that as we, you know, not only today but, you know, for the rest of the month, but for the rest of the year, and as we move on, because it's not just today we talk about these things. It has to happen more and more. So
Exactly.
let's have these open and honest conversations with our friends, our teachers, and even our family members.
That's right. Have everybody involved in the conversation. And that's the way communicating with others, talking about what the right thing to do is. That's the way we make positive change in our country and our community.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so it is Friday. We're gonna get outside today and have some fun. We're gonna run around. Those of you who are outside, that are remote, and make sure you get outside today. I think it's gonna be like 45.
Yeah, it should be nice and warm today.
So we want to make sure, be careful you're not slipping around, but make sure you dress warm and still have boots on, because we want to make sure that everyone's safe out there at the playground or, you know, wherever they are back home when they get outside and play. All
Exactly.
right, so we got to get to work today. We have one more week until February vacation, so we're going to make sure we work really hard. And then the big game on Sunday, the Super Bowl. Our old friend Tom Brady's back, so, you know, whether you love him, you're rooting for him, or if you're rooting against him, it should be a fun game. But let's remember all the good times, Mr. Fonseca.
Absolutely.
Tommy,
Always.
terrific here. But that's gonna wrap things up for us today. And as always, it's a great day to be great.